All right. So part two of the project, the tub project, where we already removed the tub, and you can see it in a previous clip from this job. On this one, I will focus on preparation for the walls before installing the tub, redoing the drain for the remodeling type of installation, not for the new construction, because there's some difference, and also installing the tub in place and filling the tub, new tub, with water. So the first thing before we actually will move forward with the installation of the tub will be preparation and the drain. Let me start from the preparation. When it comes to that part, what I'm always doing, I'm always checking if the wall is flat. I'm doing this type of inspection when working with the tub or when doing a walk-in shower to ensure that there's no any studs sticking out farther, causing the wall to be curved or bumpy. And it's important because the tub later, when we move forward with the installation, we're gonna have a wooden block over here, and it's supposed to nicely sit on the on this piece. So what I'm gonna check, I'm checking first always if all the studs are nicely lining. Looks like everything is pretty good starting from this corner, but in this corner over here we have to actually build it up, the corner slightly. Corners are very important, so as you can see, look how much of the difference we have. What it means, once we have the tile board on the wall, it's going to be crooked over here. It will be difficult to lay the tiles correctly. Right now we have all the options to make it perfect, and this is going to be the first thing for me to do, to build it up with the additional piece of 2x4, the wall in the corner. The rest goes pretty good. Here is a little bit of the spacing, will be good also to move this one farther. The rest is pretty good. So as you can see, the corner is the one that is no good. So let me start from doing this. Well, pretty much what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the isolation and nail sister stud on the side. So the underlayment, the tile board later will be actually screwed to this piece of wood instead of the corner piece. I'm gonna also check this on that wall and opposite wall. We want to make sure that everything is nicely lining, because right now it's way easier to just add a piece of wood or use this tool to shape the wood if it sticks out a little bit, versus playing with the tiles later. It might be very hard, almost impossible. So this is it. So let me start from this. I'm gonna get ready a nail gun and piece of wood, and slowly move forward with this part of the preparation. Alright, so I have a piece of 2x4. I'm running short on the studs, so for now I'm gonna put this longer piece over here, and I'm gonna use second piece to extend it farther, because the entire corner needs to be pushed out slightly. But for now I need to have just enough to put the tub in. And what I'm doing, of course, like I said, everything's supposed to nicely line, so I'm putting the piece of wood I have, start from the bottom. Okay, so it's lining on the bottom. Just one nail for now, and I'm gonna check here on the higher point if it's a nice line. as you can see, right now there's no any movement on the corner. Everything is pretty much the way it should, all the way here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shoot a few more nails, and later this corner will get extended. So this is it. And so this piece is in place. Actually, what I can do, I have a piece of wood also here, but it has to be cut. So I'm gonna probably extend it right now a little bit more, and the next step will be some other preparation. Just stay tuned. What we have the corner already ready. The next step will be for us to adjust the drain and overflow. Of course, we have to eliminate the old one. I have this tool, oscillating tool, to cut out the old pipings. So the drain is gone, and one of the things that we will do, we're gonna vacuum, we're gonna clean the P-trap. Right now we have a good option to do so. We're not gonna replace the P-trap, we will keep the existing drain pipe here. This section is gonna be redone accordingly to the dimensions that we have with a new tub. So this is gone, and the next step for me will be actually to check the new tub where new drain appears to be, basing on manufacturer's specifications, and basing on that, pretty much I will install new drain, and I will show you all of that. So let's go to the garage where we have the tub, and I will show you the type of tub that we have, and also what I will be measuring in order to have this adjusted. So here what we have the tub. It's a Botscast tub. It's 30 inches by 60 inches, so it's standard size. But the nice feature about this particular tub, it's not as hollow as old tubs. Most of the time when we're dealing with a new type of the steel tub, when you will hit the tub, you will hear echo. And this one is a little bit more expensive, but feels solid, feels almost like cast iron tub. And the reason for that, it has this type of isolation sprayed all over the back, so it's kind of reinforces the tub, and also makes this very let's say convenient, or feel better, not as empty as the standard tubs. The standard tub, Home Depot or Lowe's, you have to be ready to spend around $120, $140. This one is about $250, so another $100, but it's worth it. So it's also not that heavy. I can easily lift it. So this is the tub that we will be installing, and like I said, right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna inspect the location of the drain and make some notes. This is actually model. You can see it here. This is left side drain, because there are left and right hand side drains, of course. And this is the tub that we're working with, and let me show you what needs to be measured in order to have the drain ready for the tub. Alright, so what I'm doing to figure the distance of the drain from the wall, the center, we're going to measure center to center. Sometimes with the certain tubs we have the instructions made for a specific model, and over there you will see actually nice drawing with the distance from the side of the tub to the center of the drain, and also dimensions from the bottom to the center of the overflow. Is not present in this case. So what I will do, right now the tub sits flat on the garage floor, and it seems like the garage floor is pretty leveled. Accordingly, I'm checking the tub follows pretty much the slab of the garage. So in order for me to measure the drain, what I will do, I'm putting the level on the side where I have the drain, and I'm gonna set level over here. This stud, this level pretty much imitates our stud, because the tub will go on the side where we have the valve. The tub always goes against the studs, so this level actually imitates our stud. And what I'm doing, I'm sliding the measuring tape under the tub to the center of the drain. You can see over there is in the center, and looks like we have exactly 8.5 inches from the wall in this case for this particular tub. So I'm making some notes that actually from the wall to the center of our drain we have 8.5 of an inch spacing. Same situation we can do on the other side, from the back wall. I will set the level that imitates our let's say corner stud, and we'll do the same, pretty much the same thing. Hold on, give me just a second. I'm gonna slide the measuring tape over there, and here I'm doing exactly same thing. I'm gonna set the level in the correct position, and looks like we have 14 and a half. I'm assuming it will be 14 and a half from the outside wall to the center of the drain. So I'm making all the notes. 14 and a half. So now I know the distance from from two walls where the drain is supposed to be, and this is how I'm going to configure the plumbing in just a few moments. So we know dimensions of the location of the drain and that overflow. I can also have the overflow we can measure pretty easily. Appears to be 11 3/4 to the center. 11 3/4 to the center of the overflow. So it also gives me an idea how to adjust the overflow, but we still have to measure the dimension of the block, because each tub requires wooden block that actually supports the edge of the tub. And in this case we can measure this pretty easily. For this tub, looks like we have 13 inches, in this case 13 1/8 of an inch for the height. So I'm also going to make some notes. 13 1/8 will be the distance from the subfloor to the top of the 2x4 that we're going to install in just a moment against the back wall. Some tubs are not built that way. This one actually has this foam that's been sprayed underneath, and here what you can see, it's designed to be sitting directly on top of the subfloor, right? So there's no need, potentially, if we have a new construction, if the floor is perfectly leveled, we're just sliding the tub in, and we can put some liquid nails or something to attach it a little bit better, but it's built for the perfect installation, for the perfectly leveled floor. Some tubs are not built that way, so in order for us to figure certain dimensions, we have to bring the tub to the level by either shimming, supporting, to measure all those spaces. And like I said, most of the times you will have a installation instructions that actually has described the distance from the subfloor to the end of this backing 2x4, and sometimes also location of the drain. So, but for this particular one, it was pretty easy for me to measure it, and you have to do the same thing pretty much in order to have this done correctly. Alright, so I guess I have most of my notes. Another thing that is good to actually measure will be our distance here, the depth. You see, the tub lays nicely on the floor, and looks like we have about 3/4 of an inch. So I would say half of an inch will be distance from the subfloor that the drain's supposed to stick out. And I'm giving you all these informations because this is for remodeling. When we have a new construction and we have everything nicely opened, the way we will install the drain, we pretty much will pre-assemble the whole drain and the overflow. We will attach it to the tub, and we will just drop the tub already with the plumbing in place. This is how it's done most of the times. And later, if we have access from underneath, we can just nicely connect it to the P-trap, and it's done. This is the fastest, the easiest way of installing the tub. Most of the times when we do in remodeling, we have a ceiling in the kitchen, ceiling in the living room, or above the garage, and we don't want to really cause any additional expense to the homeowners. So there are remodeling kits for installation when remodeling, allowing us to have a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more play to still install the tub without actually need of accessing from underneath. And in this case, I'm going to show you such installation, because most of the times we do in remodeling, there's not really a whole bunch of new construction. So I believe if you're watching this video, you're considering redoing your own, and it's remodeling. So I'm going to show you how to do it the most convenient way for a person that is remodeling the bathroom, for someone or for yourself. So I have all the notes, and let's cut. The next step will be for me to actually cut the 60-inch. So this is 60 inches piece of wood that we have to nail on the back wall, and also slowly start working with the drain, and I'm going to show you this in a few seconds. So like I said, most of the times all the tubs are manufactured and designed just to sit on a subfloor. In this case, the plumber or installer will just put the tub on a flat floor, and assuming that the floor is leveled. Unfortunately, when it comes to remodeling, after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, of course, houses selling down, so pretty much every house after quite some time changes the level of certain sections of the entire house slightly, causing to actually also tile work to crack, get damaged, tub goes out of level, causing leakage, because it's extremely important to have the tub leveled, so all the water actually leaks into the tub. If let's say we have the tub in an angle, when it's going toward the outside, all the water that will collect on the side will drip between the curtain and the edge of the tub to the floor, and then eventually to the subfloor, causing rot. This is a very common issue during the projects or interviews that I had with my customers, that actually tub been out of level because setting down of the house and dripping water over the years caused rot, and then it's too late. Then we have to replace everything once the floor is damaged. So each time when doing any tub installation, I'm first of all checking conditions of the subfloor. I'm not gonna just put the tub in to let it sit on the subfloor. I have to make sure that it's done correctly. So I'm first of all checking the level against the wall. In this case, looks like the floor goes slightly, has a pitch going in my direction. It's just a little bit. but it's also bumped. As you can see, the level moves. So what it means, already I cannot just put the tub on the floor. It needs to have some type of a filler, either foam, sprayable foam, or some other type of adhesive to fill the space. And now let me check this over here. In this case, we have also quite a bit of a difference. You see, here in this case happens exactly what we're trying to avoid. The floor has a pitch to the outside of the tub, so if we will just install the tub flat on the subfloor, what will happen, the water will be traveling on the edge and going to the outside of the tub and eventually to the subfloor. In order for us to have this leveled, we have to raise the outside part of the tub for about 1/4 of an inch. In this case, about 1/4 of an inch is a difference from on our 30 inches, because we have 30 inches wide tub from the corner to the outside of the tub, the front of the tub. So what it tells me that this is actually the highest point of this floor where the tub goes, and from this highest point I'm gonna measure to put the wooden block. This is how it should be done always. We check in which section of the floor is the highest, and this is how we actually transfer our line. We marking our lines or catching the level. We're not doing this from the lowest point, we always do this from the highest point. Same situation when it comes to tile work. We always starting from the highest point of the subfloor and eventually building up the tile with a setting component or leveling compounds instead of removing layers of the subfloor. So basing on my inspection over here, we have even more pitch right now from the corner. This is also slightly bumped, but here we have also difference of about 1/4. And let me also check the level against this other wall, but I already know that this is the highest one because everything kind of goes in this direction. Here, same situation, about 1/4 of an inch. So yeah, so the next step for me will be to install the piece that actually will reinforce, support the tub against the wall, and basing on my calculations, measurements, we're starting from this corner. Alright, so I'm starting from the corner, I'm measuring for our block, and as you remember, or maybe not, was 13 inches and 1/8. So this is what I'm marking in this corner. I'm gonna pretty much transfer this line all the way across. It kind of gives me an idea where the block will go. I have our wooden piece. And I'm gonna put it in. Okay. Alright, so this is already secured in the corner. I'm always placing level on top of it. And this way we making sure that the tub will nicely be supported against the back wall. Okay, so here in our highest point of the subfloor we have 1/8 of an inch, and on the other side, just curious, we have 3 1/4. So what it means, the gap, the space will actually appear between the bottom of the tub and the subfloor, and we have to fill this. And for that, I'll show you this later. I'm using this foam that expands and then filling the tub with the water so it's nicely filled, so there's no any spacing between the tub and the subfloor. So, but this is something I'll show you a little bit later. Okay, so we have the support already in place correctly the way it should. The next step will be for me to adjust the drain. Alright, so what I have over here, I have a twist and close bath drain, and this particular kit is designed to be used with a remodeling or new construction. It has the type of drain where we can actually nicely adjust the dimensions from the drain to overflow, etc, etc. And all the pieces are here. So we have all the screws, all the gaskets. So the first step for me, as you remember, we already have this one cut off, right? I have this piece that actually I'm planning on gluing here on top of that pipe, like that. But the first thing is for me to check if I have to cut it lower or actually maybe extend this pipe. I just had this cut so I can remove the old drain, but we have to double check how long the pipe's supposed to be, because on the end of the pipe we have this adapter, and later our piece that will be built that way will go inside of that. So we want to make sure that we have correct length of the pipe so everything fits the way it should. And the way I'm checking this, as you remember, I've measured the depth, the distance from the bottom of the tub to the subfloor. In this case, I'm assuming that we have floor slightly changing. So from the 1/2 inch, the way I measured, I'm assuming we might have a 3/4 of an inch. So in this case, the top part of the drain pipe has to be around 3/4 of an inch above the level of the subfloor. And this is what I'm checking, if the existing pipe will work and if I can adjust it that way, and looks like it will work just fine. So I don't have to extend the pipe at all. This is just temporary, I'm checking. So looks like I can nicely maneuver this to the height, to the distance that needs to be done. So the next step will be to glue our fitting that failed to the base.